Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today to talk about Charlie Adelson's MP3 player that he has been issued by the Leon County Jail. And I share in part one where we learned that Charlie was actually issued a MP3 player. And I will put a link to that video in my comments section. And I just wanted to give you an update of some paperwork that I just saw was filed on 9/12/2022. This was probably the Monday, I believe this was Monday after Charlie's Arthur hearing, and we heard Daniel RASHBAUM argue that Charlie needs more time with this MP3 player, and he definitely needs longer visits with his lawyer, Daniel RASHBAUM, to share all of these wiretaps. And let me just go over this paperwork that was filed by Charles Adelson's lawyer. So the defendant Charles Adelson's motion for recommendations to Leon County Sheriff's Office regarding access to discovery and contact visits with counsel. Defendant Charles Adelson, he moves the court to allow daily access outside of cell for a minimum of 2 hours a day to the MP3 player, previously provided by defense counsel to review recordings produced by the government, or in alternative, allow unlimited daily access to the MP3 player in his cell, allow Mr. Adelson immediate access to paper discovery copied by and sent from an independent copy vendor to the Leon County Detention Center, allow defense counsel contact visits with Mr. Adelson for up to 5 hours a day when in Tallahassee, and allow defense counsel to bring computers into the Leon County Detention Center during their contact visits with Mr. Adelson. In support of this motion, Mr. Adelson states as follows. For nearly 5 months since his arrest, Mr. Adelson has been held in protective custody at the Leon County Detention Center. The officers and administrators in the detention center have been extremely accommodating and professional thus far. But as we explained during the recent Arthur hearing, the detention center policies in effect that make it extremely difficult for Mr. Adelson to participate meaningfully in the preparation of his defense. Okay, guys, and as a sidebar, please stay tuned in this video. I asked Georgia a question as she was walking out of the Arthur hearing about Charlie's access to the MP3 player. So I want you to continue listening to the end of this video for how she is working with the Leon County Jail to make sure Charlie gets these recorded conversations in time for his trial next year. The recorded conversations. Specifically, the state has produced more than 2,100 recorded conversations. Defense counsel uploaded around 400 of those recordings, which alone comprise of hundreds of thousands of conversations into an MP3 player provided to Mr. Adelson's classification officer. We recently learned, however, that due to budgetary constraints, the detention center only allows inmates access to MP3 players for a total of 3 hours each week. At that rate, Mr. Adelson simply cannot review all 2,100 recordings as he is entitled to do in advance of what parties hope will be the trial date of the first half of 2023. We therefore respectfully request that the court enter an order recommending that the detention center allow Mr. Adelson access to MP3 player outside of his cell a minimum of 2 hours each day, or alternatively for unlimited access to the MP3 player in his cell. Documentary discovery. Similarly, the state has produced more than 57,000 documents consisting of transcripts, deposition transcripts, Excel spreadsheets, and other documentary evidence. Undersigned counsel just sent one of those documents, more than 3,400-page transcript of the September 2019 trial of Sigfredo Garglcia and Katherine Magbanua to Mr. Adelson, only to learn that because of narcotics-related concerns, the detention center requires all hard copies to be recopied by detention center staff. Therefore, they can be shared with an inmate. I'm not sure what that means, you guys. Narcotics related concerns. Let me know in the comments below. Given the budgetary issues plaguing the detention center, it took more than a month to copy that one transcript and provide to Mr. Adelson. It will undoubtedly take far longer for the detention center to recopy the balance of the state's discovery, which is likely to compromise hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pages to avoid such lengthy delays and simultaneously alleviate the detention center's security-related concerns. Defense counsel respectfully requests that the court enter an order recommending that the detention center grant Mr. Adelson immediate access to paper discovery copied and shipped directly from an independent copier. So that's going to cost Charlie a little bit of money to have this independent copier. And I have to verify that the Leon County Clerk's Office is overwhelmed. I have not gotten any responses from them at this time, even though I got a notarized paperwork and everything. Have not heard from them. So it is very time consuming and they are overwhelmed. So attorney contact visits. During the undersigned counsel's most recent visit to Tallahassee on September 8th and 9th, we were advised that detention center limits attorney contact visits to 2 hours and that longer visits require approval of the chief. We also learned that the attorneys are prohibited from bringing computers into the detention center during contact visits, absent of chief's approval. At this stage of the case, we are only able to travel to Tallahassee and meet with Mr. Adelson several times each month. Given the volume of discovery and the seriousness of the charges, it is critical that our in-person meetings not be limited to 2 hours. We therefore respectfully request that the court enter an order recommending that the detention center grant Mr. Adelson contact visits with counsel of up to 5 hours each time we are in Tallahassee, that we are permitted to bring computers into the detention center during our visits. Undersigned counsel has conferred with counsel for the government, which has no objection to the relief sought in this motion. Wherefore, Defendant Charles Adelson hereby respectfully moves the court for an order recommending that Leon County Sheriff allow Mr. Adelson daily access outside of his cell for a minimum of 2 hours each day to the MP3 player previously provided by defense counsel to review recordings produced by the government, or an alternate unlimited daily access to MP3 player in his cell. Allow Mr. Adelson immediate access to paper discovery copied and sent from an independent copy vendor to the Leon County Detention Center. Allow defense counsel contact visits with Mr. Adelson for up to 5 hours each day when in Tallahassee, and allow defense counsel to bring computers into the detention center during their contact visits with Mr. Adelson. And this is written by Marcus NIEMAN and RASHBAUM and Pinero, LLP. As we see below, that he certifies this on September 12th, 2022. And so an order was written and recommended that this cause, having come before the court, Defendant Charles Adelson's motion for recommendation to Leon County Sheriff's recording regarding access to discovery and contact visits with counsel being otherwise fully advised in the premise, it is hereby recommended that Mr. Adelson should be allowed daily access outside of his cell for a minimum of 2 hours each day to the MP3 player previously provided by defense counsel to review recordings produced by the government, or in alternative, allow unlimited daily access to the MP3 player in his cell. 2, Mr. Adelson should be allowed immediate access to paper discovery copied and sent by an independent vendor to the Leon County Detention Center. And 3, Mr. Adelson should be allowed contact visits by his defense counsel up to 5 hours each day when in Tallahassee. And defense counsel should be allowed to bring computers into Leon County Detention Center during their contact visits. So that was ordered by Honorable Judge Robert Wheeler. I guess what we see here, you guys, Daniel RASHBAUM, whether he's talking on the phone to Charlie or in-person visits, this is going to be a lot of work and a lot of hours for his law practice. And I have a feeling that Daniel RASHBAUM is not hurting for hours at this time in his law practice. He is probably trying to find the staff and the time for them to come up to Tallahassee and to do this very laborious case. And all right, you guys, I want to send it to my question with Georgia, and I just wanted to mention that Georgia is doing a great job, and she is definitely making sure that Charlie gets the things that he needs for this trial to keep it on track. And let's go ahead and send it to Georgia, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day.
I guess are you glad with the judge's ruling? If you're in jail, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
we're happy with the judge's ruling.
All right.
And what's next?
Case management and hopefully a trial in the new year.
Georgia, are you confident that Charlie will have enough time with the MP3 player to review?
Yes, I'm told that as of yesterday, the jail was working on trying to amend that, and I'm sure with the judge's comments today and his offer to issue an order to that effect, we can accommodate his need to look at as much as he wants before trial.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you.